Hey, this is Bass Beast Bros Fishing YouTube channel, and today I will be telling you where, when, and how to fish a swim bait. Right here I got these big bad boys holed up. Somewhere, someday I'll catch something on them, but 14-inch, 2-ounce pike swim bait, and this is 4 ounces and 12 inches, so it's a pipe dream, but it will happen one day, hopefully. So here's some of my information that I've gathered up over my few years of fishing and just TV in general and just what I've used and what I've learned from, just fishing these baits in the past. And before I start the video, I just gotta say, I do mumble sometimes when I'm speaking, so I'll apologize right away for that. But so if you haven't used swim baits in bass fishing, start now. They're a great way to catch numbers of pressured bass and just a great technique to learn. There is hard and soft plastic swim baits. Soft plastic, hard. There's many different styles, tails, and colors to consider. Hard segmented swim baits have usually 2 segments, not this one, but they're also known as glide baits. They work well for covering big areas like points, flats, and humps where big bass roam. Use a straight retrieve, yo-yo technique, or jig a swim bait. Obviously, it would be you could find a way to jig this, but I don't know. Soft swim baits can be rigged on weighted hooks, jig heads, or fully rigged swim baits / pre-rigged swim baits, just like this one. Has a bunch of different rigs and hooks already in it. I consider a swim bait to be a clear water option because there's subtle action. Soft swim baits use a boot tail, which is a very natural subtle swimming motion, just like I just said. Swim baits could be anywhere from 1 inch, like this Mega Bass one right here. This is a really good one here, even especially in a small size, so you get lots of bites on the smaller sizes, or up to a foot, which this is just a little couple inches over a foot even. So, and they can weigh as much as 4 ounces. Any swim bait is required a longer rod with heavier line and a good reel. With big swim baits, you lob them more than cast it, basically. Just like this thing, you can't cast it, you just lob it out there, kind of. 7-foot medium power rod with 12 to 15 pound fluorocarbon is a good choice, even with small to medium sized swim baits in 4 to 5 inch range. There's really not a bad time to throw a swim bait. It could be a good way to go after one big bite when you need a good bass fishing tournament, I like to throw them on days that have some windy and partly cloudy skies. I don't really like bright or really dark days necessarily. When and where? Swim baits can be fished in clear or stained water, not dirty or muddy water. They can be fished effectively in all areas of the water column. A light / buoyant swim bait can be fished just below the surface. A weighted one can be fished near or on the bottom. They work very well in cold water and currents, even warmer water. A couple of good tips when fishing a swim bait where there's lots and lots of shad is change the size to a bigger or smaller swim bait. Use a marker and put a big black or chartreuse red dot on the side to represent a shad, but make it bigger in a different way and make it stand out from the group of shad. Have a bass target your swim bait in the big group. You could also change the action to make it tighter by cutting or biting off sections of the tail of the swim bait. Swim baits are used to imitate bait fish. Colors like green, pumpkin, or watermelon do a good job imitating bluegill. Ghost, white, or pearl imitate shad or shiners. Use proper colors to match the type of fish that bass are feeding on at the time. Umbrella rigs. You could also rig these on umbrella rigs, which are very good, and you get big strikes from them. Umbrella rigs resemble a group of bait fish or shad and let 5 or less swim baits be presented in one lure. Just retrieve them like a normal swim bait. The umbrella rig requires heavy equipment, anywhere from 40 to 80 pound line, with a big reel. Let it sink as you cast as far as possible, and then slowly reel it back to the boat or shore or wherever you're fishing from. Try to match the sink rate of the lure to the proper fishing that you will be doing. So let's just say that you're fishing on the bottom or deep water. You want a swim bait that has a fast sink rate or a heavier swim bait. If you need to fish over vegetation or near cover, use a slower sinking or lighter weighted swim bait. So I've got some swim bait options to look over just as review. This is a pre-rigged swim bait. This one you wouldn't want to use for bass unless you want to catch a world record. And this is a hard swim bait. See, it's made of plastic. Most hard swim baits are made of wood or plastic. This one's got like 4 segments, and this thing's really neat. But this one's a soft plastic swim bait, and it has a couple segments, and it just, you pull, it goes out like that, and then it's got all these different hooks there. Here is a couple other pre-rigged swim baits. I like this one right here. I don't remember the brand of it, but I got it in a mystery tackle box. Such a good, just a good feel to it, and when they strike it, it goes down really easily because it just collapses. The plastic is like extremely soft on this one. These ones are your standard Berkeley ones and stuff like that. This is a storm right here. There's another storm one, I believe. It's a pike one you could use for pike, you know, because they're cannibalistic. In the spring as well, when they feed on each other. Here, I love this thing right here. Smaller swim baits, when you're having a tough time, just jig it, or just whatever retriever you're using. You'll get lots more strikes, I've found. Just bigger swim baits, you'll get strikes, but the bigger fish, but not as much as you will with a small swim bait. So it's like a when all fails type of technique, let's per se. And this is an unweighted swim bait right here. This is a nice one right here. This is by BioBait, I believe. And this is just it's kind of like a bass green pumpkin blue flake, green flake. And there's belly hooks usually sometimes on these ones, and you just kind of tighten that onto the little spiral thing it has on there. This one's just a jig head here. This is 360, I believe, Storm 360, Rapala, I forget. Here's just another one by them. The chartreuse ones work well in stained water. If you're fishing stained water and you still want to throw a swim bait, then a chartreuse one like this will work pretty well. Here's just a couple other swim baits. This is the grass pig, and this one I don't know what it's from. I think it's 1,000 Fish. It's from the Mystery Tackle Box brand, I believe. Berkeley Power Swimmer. These are nice standard boot tail ones that work really, really good. I love these things. Swim baits can be rigged on tons of different lures, just like this bladed jig right here. This is really nice, especially for smallmouth. You could do it on a regular jig, and you could yo-yo it off the bottom like that, or you could just kind of like drag it, and you could just see that tail movement. And if you yo-yo retrieve it, it'll go up, and then it'll just start going down like that. Also, swim jig. You could swim this along, and you'll get really good action out of that. And what I meant by putting a black red dot on the side is this right here. So when you're fishing with a big school of shad or something like this, that works really well. Or even a chartreuse or red dot, because bass will target that. Even if it's a red dot, it'll look like blood, and they'll just target that and out of the big group, and it's just a way better option to up your odds. So, it's just a really good idea. Even red ones work really good. But thank you for watching the video. If you learned something, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe, and have a great day of fishing.